look like a reporter. Only 3 or 4, really?
Yeah, 3 and 4, yeah. What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to What the Pun, and today is part 2 of my series of Meet the Driver and Their Cars. So, today we're at Ronald's place and we're going to look at his Z3. What's happening, Ronald?
Hey guys, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me on your channel again. Not like I'm a regular or not.
And to start off with, Ronald, very nice car.
Thank you.
And so basically, like, how did you come about getting your BMW Z3? Like, how did the journey start? Like, was you looking at any other cars before this? And how did you end up with this particular model?
Well, to be fair, let's start off by saying this was all your fault.
What?
Yep, because literally at work, all we were talking about last summer, right, was getting a Boxster, right? Do you remember? Get into the Porsche family.
Oh yeah.
However,
yeah.
I don't have Porsche money, right? Not yet, anyway. When I was looking for a car, at that time I had a Ford Mondeo, which was a decent car, but wasn't really exciting to drive. And we had ideas of, we were doing a lot of going to like track days and stuff like that. So I just thought, do you know what, let me get myself a sports car. But I only had a finite budget. So I'm going through Auto Trader, looking at kind of sporty cars. I think we touched on MX-5s, I think Audi TTs, but they were a little bit out of my price range as well. And MX-5, no offense Mazda drivers, but it's not really my type of car. No offense. So settled on the Z3. This particular one is a inline 6 version, or straight 6, depending on what you want to call it. There was one that I was looking at up in, I think, Leicester. That was a 4-cylinder one, 1.9. But I settled on this one, even though this was more expensive, because from my college days, I remembered that the inline 6 engine is one of the most perfectly balanced engines you can get. You've got a lovely, nice, the torque is always there. It really sings when you go up on 3,000 or 4,000 RPM. And I was like, do you know what? I haven't driven one before. There's an opportunity to get it. Let's have a look.
Right, so you mentioned this very good inline 6 engine. Apart from the very good, is it reliable? Would you say? I mean,
yeah. So the BMW of this generation is the E36 platform. So the inline 6 is an M52 engine. A lot of drifters and modders love this car because you can put a turbo on it, and without strengthening too many things, you can get a lot of power out of it. So in terms of reliability, it's bulletproof. It really is.
Engine aside, how has the car been for you since owning it? Like, what have you had to do anything major? Like, how's the journey been for you? Like, what have you had to do with the car?
I'm not gonna lie, when I picked up the car, I mean, this car previously, it had only done 89,000 miles when I bought it in 20 years. So in terms of, it was quite clear that it was a car that people just bought during the summer, just to drive around for a bit, and then they promptly sold it. But when they sold it, they never fixed anything on it. So by the time it landed in my hands, some of the things we've had to do is we've had to change all the brakes, front pads and rotors, and calipers as well, because the 2 rear ones were seized, and this one here, the bleed nipple had broken off.
Okay.
So I can actually bleed it, so the brakes was a bit weird. The tyres were cracked around the edges, and Pun was like, you are not driving this car until you remember, you're not driving this car until you place those rear tyres.
Safety first.
Safety first, exactly. Other things we've had to do is resurface the lights because they were quite badly stained because of where it came from, because it was came from like Plymouth area, so it had a lot of salt, sea salt that's kind of just like washed onto the wipers and messed that up. The roof has been replaced as well because that was starting to get very old and there was water starting to leak inwards.
And to be fair, like, it looks really nice now. They've done a good job. The roof is really well done.
The bodywork is still a bit ropey,
yes,
not gonna lie, but completely expect that. I bought it like that because of its age. So when
It looks much better on camera.
It does look much better on camera. So in person, like you can see some imperfections on the bumper, and there's starting to be a little bit of rust that starts to build up by the wheel arch, which I will tackle in due course. But other than that, in terms of like a daily driver, it's been phenomenal. Like I cannot complain that. Like the boot looks incredibly small, but you can get 2 weeks worth of shopping in there. Like it's insane. Like, you know, it's comfortable. It's got heated leather seats.
Do they both work?
They both work for heated, but the lumbar support doesn't work on the passenger side. But who cares? I don't really.
I've been in the car. I know the passenger side. The seating position is awkward because we can't adjust it.
Yeah, exactly.
But in regards to that, anyways, shall I get in? It's getting a bit cold.
Yep.
We'll go for a test drive,
Yep.
and we'll let you know how it goes.
Wicked.
We're in the Z3 now. Let me get my seatbelt on first. Safety first, people. Alright. So, let's go for a drive, Ronald.
Cool. Can you? No.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Left the camera on this gear stick. Alright, so my first impressions. To be honest, I've not been in a lot of BMWs, and this is probably in my lifetime maybe third or fourth BMW I've been inside of. So I honestly have
Only 3 or 4. Really?
Yeah, 3 and 4. Yeah, that's why I'm not really a BMW guy, to be honest. So, I'm sorry, but for everyone watching that owns a BMW, that's a BMW fan, I'm honestly not huge on BMWs. But you know, having a look around this, I do like the quality's quite nice, and you can tell it's a car of its age because of the design of the interior. The ride is a bit bumpy because it's not the original wheels for the car, I can tell.
No, they're sitting on 18-inch MV2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the person I bought it off. So I'll go into a bit more about like how I found this car. So I was searching on Gumtree for Z3s, and that's the car I settled on. And so, like I said earlier, it was a toss-up between a light blue 4-cylinder one, 1.9 litre up in Leicester for I think it's about $950, or this inline 6 version for about $1,900. And one thing I will say, shout outs to the person who advertised it, is that the description is basically what made me want to buy it. Like the way she put so much detail and so much creativity, I was just like, okay, I have to buy this car. So called up the person. She was a bit she was cool. She's a really nice lady. I picked up the car down near Slough, or Langley to be precise. But I was kind of going down there with the intention I was going to buy it, like irrespective. Like I wasn't really prepared to haggle. Like I wasn't looking for like a deal. I was like, the price they listed it for, 90,000 miles, 20 years old, inline 6, leather seats, heated leather seats, blue.
And it seems like this is kind of the desirable option at the time for the seats in this car, right?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what these seats are called, what edition they are, but they're very rare and you don't find them on a lot of Beamers. To give you an example, a used set of these sold literally just last week for £650 on eBay just for the seats. And it was actually in slightly worse condition than these. Like these ones, the kind of the guide for the seatbelt that has broken off, which is apparently a common issue, which is one of the like on the to-do list of things I need to sort out on it. So so basically picked up the car, realised pretty much as soon as I got home that there's a lot of stuff I need doing on it, so I roped in Mr. Pun and one of our other mates to kind of start helping me out with the brakes and get the tyres changed and stuff. So that was pretty cool. The reason why I kind of wanted a 6-cylinder over anything else is because back when I was a little one, my godfather had an E30 3 Series, and it just made such a beautiful, because he had a sports exhaust as well, so it just made such a beautiful, nice, rich sound, and that sound just kind of has stayed with me for most of my life. I'm not a massive BMW fan either, but I am a real big fan of BMWs of that period. So to get a chance to own one of them, like with that similar type of engine, was just like, yeah, it's fine. And the mere fact that, you know, cosmetically the car is a little bit rough, it does need some TLC. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that.
Yeah, for the price you paid, it's something you can live with, and you know, it's something you can obviously sort out in time.
Exactly. And also when it's like, you know, round where I live, it's, you know, literally 5 minutes down the road and you're in a countryside, and you still get stares of people with when you have your roof down, because it's a car you just don't see on the road very often, I think.
No, you don't see Z3s too much nowadays.
Absolutely, you see more Z4s, but like if you see a Z3, like I think there's 2 or 3 in the Hertfordshire area that I've seen personally, and it is just nice to just kind of stop and talk to them and, you know, find out a bit about what is it that they've got, you know. It's very nice.
And, you know, one thing I just want to point out, I haven't even told Ronald to give it the beans yet, and I can straight away tell, like, the work you've done on the, what was it
the control arms, the bushings were completely gone, so it was really it wasn't handling very well, and also because of the brakes that was on it, the original ones, it just didn't feel comfortable when you're taking it around corners. So it was good that Pun bombarded me to get that stuff sorted out before I could truly start driving it.
And once again, safety first, people.
Absolutely. And also, remember when we went to Wales?
Oh yeah.
That was when we really could, you know, see how this car would perform, like outside of, like, you know, where I live. And oh man, I just had such great memories. You know, it's a shame we had this little thing called a pandemic to deal with, but we'll be back out there soon, definitely.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, like, you know, I haven't given you instructions to give it the beans yet, but I can tell you have so much confidence in how the car handles now, and I'm actually really enjoying the ride right now, because the car feels light, it's nippy, it's picking up speed very well. You can't really tell it's like a 20-year-old car. It feels really fun, and boy oh boy.
Yeah, when you we'll find a little stretch where you can hear it kind of hit like 4 or 5 thousand.
911 over there. Sorry,
yeah,
Ronald.
sorry.
But yeah, we'll find a nice.
Yeah, we'll find a nice stretch so we can open it up a little bit. It's now warm. The car's now warmed up. So currently, the kind of things I need to sort out is the seat belt. My seat belt has got the airbag light has come on, which I need to get sorted out. But I think that's just a niggly thing. The seat belt's been going a bit funny for a little while. Just recently, I had my very first breakdown ever in like a year of driving.
Oh yes, I remember. Yeah. Tell us more, please, Ronald.
So what happened was, I was on the phone to my mate. I was about 5 minutes away from my house, and then I lost power. And I was like, uh-oh, something's up. Like, I'm pushing the throttle pedal, just go straight to the floor.
How did you feel when that happened?
To be fair, I felt okay, because I was like, because I've spent so much time on this car, I just have a little bit more confidence as to, you know, I don't think it's going to be something super major. All it felt like, I've generally felt like, okay, the throttle cable snapped or something. And I was like, it's literally a wire that goes to the throttle body. Like, how hard is that to sort out? So managed to get it back to me, done some deep dive. Turns out there's a little rubber grommet that sits behind the throttle pedal that connects to the throttle cable. And that over time had just worked its way loose, because it was obviously very old. It split. Things
like that kind of deteriorate over time, given the age and kind of conditions that we live in. You know, hot, cold, moisture, blah blah blah.
And also 21-year-old car, so you know things are going to be brittle and going to break off. £6.58. That's how much it cost me to fix that. Literally took me about half an hour, because it was quite hard to kind of slot in. Plugged back in the throttle cable. Things been fine ever since, and the throttle response is just amazing. So yeah, love, absolutely chuffed to bits with that.
I guess because you built so much confidence around, like, the amount of work you put into your own car. I feel like, you know, you've got so much confidence in terms of, like, knowing the ins and outs of your own car, and you have the confidence of, like, okay, that's gone wrong, I know what more sorts out, I know what's caused the problem, and you know, you're not afraid to get sorted out, because you know your car back to front, basically.
Yeah. I mean, shout outs to you, Pun, because your insistence on making sure the car is cleaned well allowed me to, as I'm going through cleaning the car, I can see a lot of things that needs addressing. Like, for example, the rust that's starting to build up on the the wheel arch for the rears. Like, that's actually a replaceable. I could do the bodywork stuff, or I can just buy another wing.
Yeah.
And then fine, bolt it on, and that's it. Problem solved. But obviously, tracking down that wing for a car in decent condition is going to be kind of tricky. So, but it's not urgent. It's not urgent. It's fixable.
We'll just get someone to 3D print one.
Why not?
So Ronald, how long have you had the car in total now? Is it
so? I picked up the car literally on the summer solstice last year, June 21st, 2019. And I'm coming up on doing its first 10,000 miles.
Okay.
It was benched for about 5 months, only because lockdown, and also it failed its MOT back in March with like a long list of stuff, which obviously, thanks to lockdown, I was able to fix, bit by bit. Handbrake cable, control arm, bushings were worn, brake discs we needed replacing. But other than that, I mean, it sailed through. So once I fixed all of that, it sailed through it.
Okay.
If I gave it to somebody to fix all of that, they would have charged me like £1,000 plus. But
could have almost bought another one.
Yeah, basically could have almost bought another one. But what was really cool was that I think I must have spent about £500 on parts. I just spent, time tinkering away in the garage, and it was a much better opportunity to just do it at a budget.
Okay. And I know you use this car as pretty much a daily. Unlike me with my cars, it's like, I kind of pamper my cars and take them out when the weather's nice, and but you've literally just, I know you've taken this car out every day. You take it to work, and you daily this, and as a 20-year-old car, how has it been to daily?
So it's actually quite cool. When I first got the car, I wasn't really hopeful of doing it as a daily, because I was like, oh no, the miles per gallon are going to be absolutely terrible, and it's going to be really expensive. But once I kind of got used to the rhythm, plan your route to work, so you're not doing a lot of start-stop traffic. You do get low high 20s mpg out of it, which is not bad. It's what you expect for a car of this age. Shopping, I mean, I've put 2 weeks worth of shopping in this car, including baby nappies and stuff, and it was actually I mean, yes, it was a tight fit, but it all fitted in there pretty cool. The only probably thing that I'm missing from this car is cruise control, but this is a 2-seater Roadster from 1999. It was unlikely that it was gonna have it. Sorry, I got floor it down here. Sorry, I just you had to. But this particular road where we're on is a little bit narrow, so there's a little bit where it opens up.
Okay.
Where I'll probably do that. There you go. He needs to replace his license plate because half of it's missing. So yeah, so as a daily, I've been pretty impressed actually. Like, it's extremely comfortable. Like, now that I've got heated leather seats, like it's just warms up really nicely. The cabin is nice and compact, so you don't really feel a lot of the. Do you know what? I've never gone this way before. I don't know where it is.
So Ronald, like, you've obviously really enjoyed your ownership of this car. You plan to keep the car?
Yeah, so initially I've been thinking of reasons as to why I would get rid of this car and what I'm going to upgrade it to. But in reality, I'm probably going to keep this car for a little while. It's very sentimental. It's my first proper project car that I've done, and I've had a lot of fun with it, and there's so much travelling that we've yet to do, a lot of road trips we want to do next year. So, yeah, I'll probably be keeping it probably for at least another year, and then we'll reevaluate it from there.
And any plans upcoming, or like any other things that you need to get done on the car? Anything Any upgrades you plan to do on the car as well?
In terms of upgrades, probably very, very light stuff. I don't want to mess around with like lowering it because it's low enough already. There's some old bushings for like the anti-roll bar that I think would benefit from some power flex stuff, probably getting fitted in there. My mate's got a hydraulic press, so that's going to make that job quite easy. There's stuff in the interior. You know, there's the speaker grille on the side that's kind of a bit loose. There's the upholstery behind the window is starting to peel a little bit, so I want to stick that back down. And also there's a lot of bodywork stuff, like a lot of scratches and scrapes that I want to just kind of iron out.
Okay.
Really cool thing about this car is it is slowly starting to go up in value. So people are seeing that there's you know, there's some value, and obviously because it's an old BMW, it's holding its value well. So there's no instant rush to change it really.
Okay. Right. You know what's just popped into my head, Ronald?
What?
I've got an idea. So, hear me out.
Okay.
So you know who else I know has a BMW Z3?
Who?
So, you, like me, watch a lot of car YouTube as well, right?
Yeah.
So, Car Throttle,
Yeah.
Ethan from Car Throttle.
He's got a Z3.
Yes.
Oh yes, he does. Okay.
And you know.
What's your idea then?
You know, if anyone's
I'm
been
scared by what you're about to
so
now
if
come up
you know,
with.
if anyone that doesn't know or hasn't followed, the YouTube channel Car Throttle, nice bunch of guys. I've seen them at car shows before as well, and one of the guys on Car Throttle called Ethan, he's recently picked up a BMW Z3. I think it's almost the same. Is it the same colour?
I think it's not the same colour. His one is in green.
Yes.
I think it's the same engine. I think it's or is it? No, it's the four cylinder.
I think it's the four cylinder.
I think it's four cylinder.
I think it's four cylinder.
But it's an R. I think it's an R edge.
Okay.
So it's literally the facelifted version.
Okay. And he's done a bit of work as well. Like from what I've seen, he may not have enjoyed the work he's done on it, but he's done a lot to the car as well. Kind of like you as well.
Ethan, if you ever watched this video, I felt your pain, especially with snapped bolts on when you're doing the brakes. So don't worry, bro. We're in this together. And don't listen to those naysayers, man. Honestly, if you've never done it before, it is kind of hard. Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, Ronald, Ethan, his Z3, your Z3,
Yeah.
on a track, head to head, best lap.
Oh my goodness. Do you know that'll actually be quite cool because I don't know about Ethan whether he has any experience doing any track day stuff, but I've never driven this car on
Funny you
track.
might say that if you haven't seen the most recent episode. He's had some training from the stick, so I'm kind of worried about
stick?
you. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about you because I don't think you're gonna get a better lap time than
Absolutely
Ethan.
not. But you know what? Like this video, guys. If you think that that would be a cool next video, I think that would be pretty interesting. I'd love to do that. Yeah, that'd be alright. Yeah.
I mean, it might not be the best weather for it, but you know, it'd be nice to see.
Car Throttle, if you ever manage to stumble across this video, get in touch. We'd love to speak to you. That'd be awesome if you could do that.
Yeah. So, well, great idea, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. You've twisted my arm. Let's see what happens.
So, anyways, back on to about your car. Like, for if there's anyone that's watching that's also planning to do something similar to you, either get like a 20-year-old Z3 or a 20-year-old car. I mean, do you have any kind of advice to give this particular person?
Yeah. So, don't feel scared. Sometimes when you're looking at an old car, you do feel like, if we're going to break something, it's going to be expensive. One of the best things about this particular car is pretty much 90% of the parts I've bought, they're available with other models. So I've bought most of my stuff from Euro car parts, like, if I'll be honest. It's only like specific things like that rubber grommet when the throttle cable snapped, that I had to order off eBay. But I mean, like, I had to wait a week. It wasn't very expensive. Like, it was fine. These cars are kind of cool, man. Like, they're quite mechanical, so there's not really a lot of electrics to it, so there's not really much to go wrong. You just have to, watch some YouTube videos, jump onto the Z3 forums, just kind of make a start, because once you do, the excitement and the thrills of you know, fixing your own car and taking it out on the road is just something that everyone's got to experience. Both man and woman experience that at some point in your life, man. If you're into cars, because it's a great experience.
That's a nice way to wrap it up, man. Thank you very much. So, hope this video is giving you some confidence to attack or purchase your very own 20-year-old car, or maybe even older, and get yourself some confidence into getting your hands in there and fixing it up, and build that sort of like personal relationship with your own car, and yeah, enjoy it.
Give yourself a nice budget, and not too expensive. Give yourself a nice sensible budget. Try to stay away from cars with a lot of rust, because that's a lot of work to do as a project car. Just something that is a bit old, a bit classic, got a bit of street presence about it, and then yeah, just take it from there, man.
Right, cool. Alright, so hope you enjoyed this week's video. Thank you very much, Ronald, for joining us on
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, thank you for joining us in part 2 of my little mini series. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you hit that like button, and feel free to drop a comment, and let us know what you're thinking of what we're doing here, and hope you're enjoying it. See you next week. Take care. Love you lots. Bye bye.
Take care, guys.